Recording.
Fade in.
Fade from black.
Who's left? I think it's just Jay. No, there's 3 more left.
Arik, Bella.
Jay, Heinrich, and Cabela. Get her over with.
You gotta do it, otherwise we're gonna start missing out on shit.
Yeah. Stop
Cabela.
cutting. I would like to know more about the sacred mysteries of the death.
Cabela might have things to do.
Taught us that there are many like us throughout the Imperium.
Should I hold off on her?
Blood in his name.
Well, it's fine. It's just she might take the longest bit.
He said that no 2 death cults are the same, just as there are no 2 identical stars in the void. I will tell you about the blood-spun web, but I cannot speak on behalf of all death cults.
Started. Probably finished.
Hey man, this is great background noise. I would totally use this video myself.
Use this video just as background so you can...
Yeah.
I expect nothing
I'd be
else.
very glad. I wouldn't have to look at the fucking screen. It would just be, oh, this is happening. Cool. I can listen to it. It's recorded at a volume to where I can do so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just there. I can tune in and out of paying attention on my own desires.
Nothing major's gonna happen that you'll need to keep track of.
But it's stuff that could be good if you happen to hear it.
Yeah. So, what is this cult's purpose? I really hope I fix my microphone before the start of the episode.
Boy.
Or else it's just 4 episodes of me talking and it's just cutting in and out.
There's always mine. What's your expander at? It's like -40, right?
It's like -43 right now.
Yeah, you should be fine. Because that and your the noise gate are lower than mine are.
Yeah.
The only thing that might be bothersome is that your computer's fans are kicking in. And the only reason mine aren't is because liquid cooled.
Maybe I should make an investment to liquid cool my computer.
Only if you're planning on recording. A whole bunch, which I don't know if you are.
Intensive games are intensive.
Well, yeah, but there's a difference between it cooling your computer and making a lot of noise, and it cooling your computer and not making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Like, the noise is secondary.
I would check to see if it's actually cooling my computer, but I don't have time to do so.
Oh shit. I saw that there was somebody that liquid cooled a monitor before.
Why would you liquid cool your monitor?
Apparently it's the monitor that they had. This is like a off-the-wall bullshit post, but someone posted it and there's like a big-ass liquid cooler on the back of their monitor. And they're like, wow, this seems like the most useless thing ever. And then some people did like further research into it, and that particular monitor has a huge amount of like complaints that it makes so much goddamn noise. So liquid cooling was actually a genius idea, because all they did was just run the pipes from the computer to the monitor and added more substance.
Well,
so that makes sense, and apparently it's worth it. But the idea that a monitor can make that much fucking noise.
I mean, I can understand it giving off a lot of heat because LEDs and all this electricity on everything that's needed to make like 4K monitor, for example.
Mm-hmm. I think it was one of the LG variants, and if I'm wrong, someone else does it, and it's not LG, so sponsored.
Not sponsored by them anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But I could be one day.
One day in the future.
When I don't have to worry about starving and avoiding anything related to the medical field, like the plague itself.
There's always going to be another plague. Look at Corona.
If we don't have universal healthcare by then, I'll fight it and I'll probably die.
We're in America. We're not going to have universal healthcare. Oh well. Death cult. What is your purpose? Why do you exist? You seem to exist for a reason.
The blood-spun web holds the bays of the flagship together with the threads of its faith. Such is our service to the Domini of the Von Valancius line. The Undying One commanded the Domini to embark on
Everything
a
she
ship
says
and
sounds
sail
so
the void's
intense.
expanse.
Shit.
And thus,
She's from a
it
death
became
cult,
our
dude.
duty to protect your dynasty and
I
the
didn't say it
ark
was
that
wrong.
became its home.
It just
This great
is
relic
what it
of
is.
blood and adamantine.
entirely expected. Just worth commenting on.
Some loathe and fear us. They call us murderers and reapers. Others call
She's
us
happy about that.
dancers of death, who send the souls of the dead on their way.
Did it sound
Both
happy?
are right.
I thought it was derisive.
Both are wrong.
Deaths and
We are
reavers.
servants of the undying Emperor. When he whispers that the time has come for a righteous martyr's soul
Listen to it.
to be laid
There's joy in that
his
voice.
blessed hands,
Well, there's joy
we
there.
come to claim it. When he whispers that the wicked must know of his wrath, we come to reap. This is how we maintain order on the ship, unseen and guided by death's will.
But when
Like, I
she's-
have a feeling that during those, she'd be, like, talking with her hands and doing little, like, walking gestures.
if she was talking with her hands, I would assume she'd get the little quote-unquote for the murderers and reapers part while rolling her eye. That's how it sounded, just derisive, like they're idiots that she's talking about.
Speeders.
Speeders? Speeders.
Spider.
Spiders. There's no
The
spiders.
blood-spun web, they're spinners.
I didn't make the connection before. I have not read any of these dialogue options. You hear a whisper in your mind telling you to kill someone, and you obey. Have you ever considered that these whispers could be a deception orchestrated by minions of the arch enemy?
Death's whisper is unmistakable. It is not like the murmur of stars or the hiss of corruption. It is truthful, pure, unyielding. Only the most eminent of us, the high spinners, can hear the whisper of the Undying One and give voice to his will. They must hone their senses and temper their body and soul for years before his call can reach them. If it puts you more at ease, you can think of these whispers as his providence.
You know what? Considering everything I've seen so far, I can't
Go
tell
on.
if they're speaking in metaphors or if they're speaking about literal things. Hey,
They
these
feel pretty
demons
literal.
appear, and it feels literal because they're literally fighting demons. But they could
Feels
also be
pretty
talking about
literal.
the metaphorical demon. Like,
I have noticed that there is candle wax dripping onto that monitor. Someone needs to clean it. You're gonna burn a fucking smooch into it. No.
which monitor are you referring to?
The one in
This
front of
one?
my eyes.
Oh, yeah. How do you know?
It's gonna be a big ass stain.
It's just candle wax. You can get rid of that easily, right?
It's a hot substance left on the monitor for a long time. It's gonna burn something.
And you
gonna
can't
be
really get it
gross.
off without reheating it. If it
And it's
cools.
really high up, so like you gotta get a ladder. Who the fuck handled all these candles?
Well, who keeps all the candles lit? Do we have that many people on this ship? Just
We do.
we do. I see so many of them just in the background lighting candles. So, how do you know you've never made a mistake? How can you be sure that you have never wrongly robbed one of your victims of their life?
We are carried along by a current of blood in the great river of fate. Life is not given or taken away by chance. If I see an enemy of humanity, my blade will sever the thread of their existence. I will not wait for a sign of his divine bidding. I am his will,
Because
and I do what must be done.
she decides someone's a heretic means that they're going to kill them and they are right to kill them. What?
They don't really make decisions, per se. They get told to go do something. It's weird. She's just saying that she's learned to trust her judgment. Which is less weird.
Trusting her own judgment versus
Getting a voice whispered in her head that then she has to track down and splatterify.
she's not saying she doesn't trust the voice in her head. She's
Oh,
saying
she
trusts
does.
her judgment as well.
She just also trusts her own judgment.
Be that as it may, your thirst for blood and your constant cutting yourself like you are is a bit troubling.
There is no thirst, only duty.
I've seen you cut yourself 3 times today.
We are instruments.
I've
of his
seen you
will,
twice.
and this is how we serve him.
Let's blame the vizier.
Hmm?
Blame the vizier.
Mm-hmm. I should never have joined the cult.
You actually joined it. I didn't do that.
I did not. I just wanted to end the scene, so I was rushing through it. And
Man, that was a choice, then, wasn't it?
I would have just stayed with the scar, the rat. Why decide to make a sector that is keeping with the rat?
Just to be itchy.
He says so I could say that I did it.
You're gonna have to beat the game twice, though.
Yeah,
And this game's long.
it is. Let us speak
The-
about something else.
And the worst part is, even if you do manage to, like, fucking book it through the game, whenever you get to the end, you're gonna be in trouble.
I'm gonna be in trouble?
If you book it through the game to get to the end, you're gonna be in trouble. Because things at the end are 4 max level characters. Which, at the same time, yeah, sure, cool. But that also means you don't get shit from anything you do.
Right?
Because, like, you no longer need experience. And it doesn't normally give you what you want for guns. And the things you're fighting don't drop loot anyway.
That's why I'm mostly relying on psyker powers, so I can just mimic my psyker powers. Because those scale with my level. Instead of having to
Can also
worry about
just
getting
shoot.
guns.
I think mine's working pretty well,
Yeah. Except,
given what it did to the Forge Fiend.
yeah. Except you have a needle rifle or something.
I wanted something else, but it just never showed up.
It just never
This
showed up.
reality didn't have it, so instead I must make do.
It has to be somewhere. And I did hear of a way to get it.
Just gone.
Did hear of a way to go get it. That is in this. Actually, it's in this zone that we're in right now. This system.
Then we shall see once we are done with the dialogue,
Yep.
in hopefully less than 3 hours.
How long has it's already been 3? How long has Bloodspun Web been in existence?
I know it's been 3 hours, but that's also
Stillness
counting.
carved the chronicles of our history
No,
on the
I mean, it's been
stones
3
of
hours
your
to just
temple
dialogue.
long ago.
I don't think so.
But fate and time have erased our past.
Starting at about
Just as an
1040.
exploding star erases a part of the galaxy from existence.
Because we got Caleb to stay a little later.
It was only a little bit. 10:35, I think, when he left.
I don't know.
About 10:40 is
All I
when.
know is we were only one cut in, and I think that cut was just dialogue, and it was just this one before. I don't know. Okay, we're moving.
Yeah. What are the responsibilities? What are the responsibilities of the Vizier besides commanding you to do what you do?
It is the Vizier's duty to watch over the flock, to lead those who want to learn more.
Everything you say sounds concerning.
But are fearful of death.
It should be.
Guide those who seek
They are a
answers
death
in death,
cultist.
but do not know how to live. The Vizier protects all. Those who do not know we exist. Those who are grateful for our service. And even those who hate us.
I wasn't
The
so
Vizier
determined to
sees
just
what is
get
to
all
come.
the companions.
Remembers the
I would kick you
past
out.
and accepts the
She hasn't
present.
done anything wrong.
No,
They
I
spin
just
a
don't
web
agree with the
of
whole
faith
death
and
cultist
blood
mindset.
So strong.
Well, then you need to get a bunch of guards and raid the lower decks.
This is the Vizier's
Also,
burden.
you may get your wish.
This is the legacy of the matriarch spider.
No joke.
I can just get a bunch of guards and kick them out.
Something might happen later on, but we gotta get there first.
Looking forward to it.
And even if Cabela does say no, don't do that, what the fuck's she gonna do whenever she starts getting shot to death?
She can't deflect bullets. Probably.
Cannot.
Who was the matriarch spider?
It is said that she was one of many, born in the void, the Domin's subject. She honored death instead of life, and for this, she was persecuted. It is said that when the arch-enemy's forces invaded the flagship during a warp jump, she gathered the Undying One's servants around her and saved the ship from ruin. Together, they spun the first threads of the web to ensure that such devastation would never happen again. It is said that she was strong and indomitable, but as the years passed, her heart became as stone, and thus, the Undying One whispered her name to the one who would become the first Vizier of the blood-spun web.
I feel the need to carry on.
You first go.
I was going to question how many death cults like this exist. Every ship has their own ecosystem. And there's a great number of ships.
That is an unknowable number, but they're probably not all the exact same. I was going to point out how incredibly useful a whole bunch of incredibly loyal assassins are mechanically.
That is incredibly useful. Just
Oh, there's a rebellion over there. Just, yep, go, yeah, cool, gotcha, done, thanks.
But the incredibly loyal assassins being part of the death cult, which worships not essentially worship blood, but have such a interesting fascination with blood in it of itself, is concerning.
The Imperium has that anyway. Basically every aspect of the Chaos Gods the Imperium has in some respect, which then tilts people toward the good guys instead of the insert whatever variation of chaos you want to here, guys.
Can I just employ some orc boys?
No,
That'd be
no,
great.
no. Orc boys sound fun until you realize the violence is really their only fucking thing. and they'll like make a people farm to get it if they want.
Like they'll make a farm, a human farm, so they have people to fight for violence sake.
Or, just to eat. Depending on whether or not they give them a good crump or not.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So basically, instead of getting a whole bunch of friendly orky boys, you're hiring out a bunch of Cornite berserkers that don't die and propagate like rabbits.
Yeah, maybe it's for the best not to go and select any of those.
Her next big dialogue, I'm gonna go refill my water, by the way.
Feel free to. Why do you
I mean, you can have a good orc, but don't have like 4. Because then that's too many.
Because 4 becomes 8, becomes 32, becomes...
Well, 1 becomes 385, but you can keep an eye on 1.
Do they like, just...
They are mushrooms. They spore. Like, they fart. The fart falls on the ground, and then it makes a new orc.
Oh, so they do reproduce, just... They split, like, osmosisly.
Yeah. They bud. It's weird. Not quite budding, but still.
Close enough. Why do you call yourself a...
Oh no. Orky boy lost a fucking fingernail over here, or got a tooth knocked out. Nobody picked it up, which is terrible for the economy, by the way. And then there's just more orcs.
Grown from that tooth? Or...
Oh no, they
finger?
bled on something. More orcs!
It's a really cool power to have. If they weren't so... them.
Huh, huh, huh.
Why do you call
Crump.
yourself spinners?
Through
Long
blood,
enough.
sweat,
Yep.
tears, and the strength of their convictions, the servants of the Undying One spin the souls of your subjects into threads of balance. This is why we refer to ourselves as spinners. Those who are newly committed to the blood-spun web are called lesser spinners. If they are faithful in their service to him, they may eventually become spinners. The most devout of us all are known as the High Spinners, of whom there are 7, each bearing a unique title. The Vizier, the first spinner, leads the cult. I, Kibella, am the second spinner. The third spinner's name is Io, and there are 4 more.
Haha, perfectly timed.
Got back just as she finished. Congrats.
I did it.
You say the God Emperor is death. There are some who might find the comparison blasphemous.
The Undying One is death itself. We serve him, and thus we serve death. This is not a comparison, attribution, or preference. It is the truth, and nothing can change it.
I find it strange that all these cults and religions and everything else worship the God Emperor. Like they all just go back to the God Emperor.
Well, in fairness, whenever it comes to a monotheistic culture, things tend to branch from that monotheistic entity. And
should
also
branch
things that
in.
aren't worshipping the state religion. Flamer.
But usually those branches have introduced more entities to worship in some manner. But these just refer to the exact same entity by a different name.
They set up the state religion. They want to keep it within certain parameters. Sadly, it's not what the deified wanted, but it's what we got.
Because his whole thing was no to religion, I don't want anything to do with religion. And then they made religion after him.
Fucking word bears. Ugh. Ugh.
Do you think this...
We need to get to the later parts of the game so I get to shoot some.
Alright, well, let's rush for that. By which I mean, slowly talk to everyone. As we
We'll
eventually
get there very slowly.
10 years from
but
now.
eventually, I will ruin a word bear's life. Forever. And this will make me greatly happy.
Can you teach me to follow the tenets of the Bloodspun Web? I don't want to.
Just ask it anyway.
The tenets are knowledge, an art that is passed down from one generation of the blood-spun web to the next. Even so, there are spinners who will never fully comprehend this knowledge in the time allotted to them by the Undying One. The tenets dictate how one follows the thread of life, but they are also the thread itself, from first breath to last. The tenets cannot be taught, they must be lived. Only then will you understand.
Man, she is... I don't know if this is just a me thing and how I've taken to doing little voice actor things, but I feel like I know what her actress is doing in that booth. She is all up on that mic. Like the physicality. I can feel it.
I feel like
I don't know if you have any idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
I can't imagine what the voice actress is doing, but I don't know if I would be right or not. But I've not myself physically seen many people in a booth recording lines like this.
Like, I know what physicality I would be doing.
I don't. I really don't like. I'm sorry.
Maybe it's just because I have religious family members. So I am able to kind of look past that shit. To some regards.
I do as well. There's a difference between being religious and being pious.
Nah, man, I got some of them snake shakers.
Oh.
Yeah, I got some crazies.
That might be why I don't like Bella. They're all religious. Like, Argenta is religious, but she's not.
They're also a sororitas. Their entire thing is dealing with people.
And the Bloodspin Web's entire thing is just killing people. So they're stuck in their bubble.
No knowledge of people required to shove a dirk into their sternum.
You've satisfied my curiosity. I feel like I understand you so much better. I don't like what I see, but I feel like I understand it.
Then you can fix it.
I don't think there's a way to fix that. Hey, you keep cutting yourself.
Oh god, there's so much more dialogue!
There is. There's so much. You keep cutting yourself. Is there a reason why?
Torture? I bear the sacred marks of the Undying One's service. Death has bestowed them upon me. Though others may cherish hollow riches or meaningless beauty, it is my duty
And there's
to
still
cherish
two other
his
characters.
gift of blood. Each wound.
If we get it done now, it's not hanging over our heads.
Each drop of blood carries.
She probably has so much dialogue, but she's the DLC character.
These scars,
Oh yeah.
And that's
is to
it.
renounce
Just because she
the
took the oath
Undying
speaker.
One himself.
Gabella's got a lot of extra shit everybody else just doesn't get.
Death whispers to me, you are worthy of bearing his marks. Tell me, Domin, do you wish to honor your flesh with his gifts?
Sir, I'll remind you, we have a Cathurgeon, they can heal you. I'd rather that than you make the crazy lady mad.
I assume this will not be a painless procedure. That's not making a choice, is it?
That's a question, at the very least.
I have not felt pain in a long time. But yes, your body will certainly suffer. Embrace the pain and make it a part of you. It will be your salvation, even on your darkest days.
It would be my honor to bear the mark of the Undying One. Mostly because I don't want her to just stab me with that deck.
Peer pressure wins again.
I mean, I could do the heretical thing. And
Just
start
make
in
your
like
own
a
symbol.
heretical-
Why would you do that?
Heretical points for heretical reasons.
Such as?
You get benefit for being heretical a little bit.
Like what?
I don't remember.
In the end, you get to be a word bearer's little bitch. And that's it.
I'll be honored to bear the mark of the Undying One, although I don't want to.
Let it be so. Treasure
Chop, chop.
his gift, Domin. Inscribe it anew each time you pray.
No.
May his blessing find you.
Did
Well,
you...
no, sir. You only need to put it on each time you pray. Hey,
So just never go
just
pray.
pray. Don't pray.
Did you ever meet Theodora Von... Did you ever meet Theodora?
I met her once when I was young. The Vizier saw a serpent hiding among those close to Domin Theodora, ready to sink its fangs into her throat. I was ordered to find the serpent and sever the soul from its body. I watched and waited for weeks. I hid among the shadows, the air ducts and the faceless masses. Once I found the serpent, I sliced off its head and returned to the temple. I doubt that Domin Theodora ever saw me.
Aw.
But the 3 ritual cuts I left behind on the body let her know that this death was pleasing to him. They sent us a grand feast from the upper decks before the cycle's end. We gave it to the hungry.
That last line I agree with.
They're not bad people, is the thing.
It just...
They are cultists, but they're not bad people.
just because they're cultists
Can you
doesn't mean they're
separate
bad.
these things?
It is difficult to separate the concept. Cults usually mean things like, let's summon Cthulhu
Kool-Aid.
to end the world, or give everybody Kool-Aid so they die because we poisoned them.
Gotta catch up to the spaceship or whatever the fuck they were doing.
You always express me as Domin. What does that mean?
The Gothic we use to communicate is different to that spoken on the upper decks. Domin has many meanings. Giver of life, Lord or Lady of the Ark, and Shadowless Sun. The matriarch Spider gave this title to the rogue trader who allowed her to form the blood-spun web. We use other titles as well. For example, Venai means Master of the Immaterium, or Watcher of the Veil. Vil means one who must go to the other side. Amic means one you can trust in battle.
That is information I will store away and never use ever. But be aware of. Thank you. If the Undying One whispers my name, will you carry out his will?
Lords and wretches are equal before death. If such is the Undying One's will, I will guide you to him, Domin.
Great to know that you will kill me if you get a whisper in your ear saying to kill me.
Well, you gotta help her not to. So gauging by the next dialogue option, you did in fact initiate a romance.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, I did. Good, that's another one I can skip.
You got it, you're in there.
Tell me about the Emperor's Carrot. Whatever that.
That is terror.
I use blood to read
Tara?
his sacred cards.
Yes.
And hear the whisper of the Undying One.
That tea
His
trips me out.
tarot is not an answer, but a question I ask of the universe. And the universe answers with questions of its own. In this sacred communion, I perceive hundreds of possible outcomes.
Yep.
They are all true, and yet they are only visions. I know what will come to pass, and yet I do not.
You know how, like, the tarot thing is, like, the general whatever of it?
Yeah.
Or do I gotta do a lot of explanation? Okay.
I built a character all around tarot. And I still can't pronounce the word.
What character
Joda.
was that? Really? Oh yeah, I forgot. You haven't done that
I
in a
haven't done it
while.
for a while. I still have the app on my phone.
But going to school and messing with the theater department,
Yep.
you are gonna find some people that are like real into it. But mine had like this old lady. Like one of those, this is just like their fucking thing. And sheer like curiosity forced me to go like, okay, sure, I'll take a reading. It was like the canonical reading.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, the tarot things have their own, like, it's a story to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fool starts on an adventure to get the world, and all these things are in these places and things, right?
Right.
The reading they gave, completely randomly drawn, was essentially the canonical story of the deck. So it's like, yes.
Not at all related to you.
Well, it basically, that's just what that's the deck story is, like the fool's journey. Somebody starts off, they don't know as many things as they could, but they're the fucking protagonist, and they're going off to go acquire the metaphorical world or their hopes and desires, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got.
So you are the main character of the story.
Apparently.
We literally are just voices in your head. Here, just to
Like,
give you a
it's the
different
most self-centered reading someone can possibly get, to be like, you're only going to grow and you're going to accomplish shit in not so many words. Everybody else got much more specific ones. Like, you have a specific problem with this, or the other thing. Mine's just like, nah, fucking go for it. Cool.
Go for it. You'll achieve all your hopes and dreams, and you'll come out better. You are the main character.
Conceptually, bad. But, like, what am I supposed to do when, like, the old lady that's sitting there huffing and puffing and not quite believing what she's seeing is giving me this rundown? Like, they very much had hag energy. and not like new age hag energy, like could cast a spell on people energy.
Are you sure that wasn't the process of casting the spell on?
Well, if that's the case, then they gave me all the fucking advantages in the universe.
That's why your luck is always fantastic.
Or they looked into it and said, oh shit, this is already here. Like, either way.
There's a reason why you only fail the 5% losses. Because you can't always win. So having
It also said that I would be particularly good at lying.
Eric.
Hi.
Do any of us ever believe that you're lying to us?
Not when I don't want you to.
Unless you actively put a emphasis in your voice. We usually assume that you're telling the truth or spinning some tale or doing something just to make us think you're lying even if you're telling the truth. Never that you're actually lying to us.
But that's my story about tarot.
Call back something that
It's
like
that
2
I was
years
the
ago.
chosen one.
You are the chosen one. You're just missing your power up. This is your power up there.
Man, eventually. Still waiting on that one. Call back to 2 years ago. What was 2 years ago?
Call back to 2 years ago. We were playing Among Us.
Among Us.
We had every reason to believe that, Matt was a traitor. I refuse to believe Matt was a traitor. No, I refuse to believe that you were a traitor, despite you, actually being one.
I was yellow and had a halo.
You were yellow and had a halo. That is true.
I made it as obvious as possible every time.
But I don't think I caught you out being a traitor. Because I always assumed you were. That's why I don't like.
That said, whenever I'm perfectly innocent, I got yeeted a bunch.
Because we've been traumatized by the times you were a traitor. And then you just didn't give any indication of it. Those were trauma.
It's like, what am I supposed to do? I know I should chuckle mischievously whenever I know I'll just get yeeted. That game died, and the people that were suddenly made very famous whenever it was being played have also disappeared from my periphery.
We'll see if
with very few exceptions.
Once in a while.
And just in case you were tired of hearing in-character dialogue, we've totally ruined her tarot thing. Now let's get back to it. We still got like 4 hours to go.
How did she come to have a
Probably
deck
not.
of tarot? Probably like another 2.
Chase won't take a while.
It is a holy relic.
She is
that has been
verbose.
Passed down from generation to generation.
Oh.
Only the first and second spinners are allowed to study the sacred cards and interpret their meaning. We use his tarot to guide the cult and discern the tangled threads of fate.
You're thinking about how she's physically acting, aren't you?
I am. I can't unsee it now.
It's all the half whispers that just keep going on and on from the thing.
Mm-hmm.
These little parts here that do this and this. These tangled threads, things like that. You know that they're hyper fixating on like their hands and doing little gestures, doing all these little things. You can hear the physicality. They're doing a great job.
I
have no complaints.
Job. I have no complaints about it, except for the context of what they're saying. But it's just context.
They're not in charge of writing it.
They're just in charge of saying it, and they're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Now then, out here, luck with you. He has decided he in fact cannot fix you.
I can't deal with it.
Yeet.
But you've done a fantastic job fighting that feeling. How many cards are in your deck?
34.
That's not
There
the
used
right
to be
number.
more, but some have perished in the darkness of time. Their loss is a great tragedy for the blood-spun web.
This is a scenario where I can't tell if they're speaking in metaphors or literally. Did they have a physical deck of people? Did they just have people who represent each card and then they die? Or did he just lose some cards?
I think that they've actually lost some cards. Because this is like a thing. It's like a deck. That said, I think I might use psychic paper, so the fact that it's missing cards isn't all that bad.
It's the way they word it, saying that they perished in the darkness of time,
Yeah.
which in itself is a metaphor. I think.
It's certified heresy-free, that's all that matters.
The Emperor's Tarot is usually read by Sanctioned Psyker. Are you a Psyker? Please tell me yes.
That she knows.
Hmm?
Not that she knows.
I am the spear of his retribution, not a witch or a sorcerer or a soothsayer. I have no strange
That would only
powers,
make her better.
but I do bear his blessing.
But no, she's
I do
not a
not
Psyker.
command the veil. I am guided by his whisper
That is?
Yeah.
and led by my faith, by the tenets.
What?
Please, do not mistake me for something I am not.
Theoretical.
Yep.
What if she has what I have?
What do you mean?
Not a psyker. But... uncanny ability to just savant and know things.
Like, it can't be. He's not one of the
It
chosen
fits
one.
the prerequisites.
He does.
She kind of was, actually. They are specifically chosen for the indoctrination into their cult. Somebody had to go steal that baby.
He is. And then she made it second in command before the main premise of her story. It's not finished growing. She's still second in command of the Pope.
But I'm just trying to give her some points here because she doesn't deserve all the negativity.
I was thinking if she's a psyker, I could just turn her over to the Inquisition and not feel bad.
Bruv.
What?
They have only been helpful.
They have. It's just so. She is who she is.
Lore warp succeeded. You occasionally feel a shiver run down your spine or detect faint sparks in the air when you're standing next to Gabella. It seems her powers only manifest when she's practicing divination, or in moments of pious exultation. Gabella herself does not seem to be aware of her
She
gift.
is a psyker that doesn't know she's a psyker. Oh, it's perfect actually. I can get rid of her. Easy. Yes. Can you give me a reading? The other
Not
psyker.
without selling yourself and your kind down the river.
Say it again.
Not without selling yourself and your kind down the river.
Oh, yeah, I can't get rid of her then. Oh well.
Ask the cards, Dominic, and I will listen.
What is in my future?
She draws 4 cards, lays them face down.
Like she just keeps this deck on her at
Yeah.
all times?
Yeah.
Does that mean that the first command has a second deck?
No,
Then how does
they're only hers.
the VCR can also look at that?
Well, yeah, if he's near her.
But she's the keeper of the deck. For some reason.
And she's your personal shadow.
Yeah, that makes sense. it makes sense how they lost so many cards.
The first card is the young warrior. It suggests inexperience, a path of becoming. The second card is the shattered world inverted. The path will have twists, turns, and thorns, but you will gather allies along the way and find what was lost.
So fool,
The
upside down
third,
tower.
The hound inverted. Someone has marked you as their prey and is chasing you through a field of traps.
Don't know.
The lost child. You will leap into one of those traps of your own free will and place your trust in someone truly desperate.
That sounds like Lovers inverted, almost, for the lost child. The hound I've never heard of?
It'd be anything that chases you.
Chariot, maybe?
Devil, perhaps?
Could be the devil. Or death. I definitely didn't just go open up that app on my phone to go look at
But
the
some
cards.
shit's going down, she says. It just isn't going down yet.
Will go down eventually.
More helpful than Idira's fucking shit.
Here,
And also doesn't require me to load up a goddamn weapon.
Sure.
Sir, she had demon voice.
she did have a demon voice. Never mind, I can't talk to you. Only this time. I have nothing else to say about the Pharaoh. Let us talk about
Please,
something
fault
else.
any of my other times. I dare you.
Okay, Adira's been off her rockers the entire time.
I know. It's not good.
It's really not, and she's been fighting chaos. But,
Not so bad.
but, she means well.
Sir,
Probably.
she summoned a demon.
Out of grief of Theodora having died in front of her.
Yes, and it took her form, and people thought it was her. And we're going to mutiny against you.
There's nothing I can say to make those actions sound okay. Because it's really not. And if it was anybody else but Adira, I would have just let her think of it.
Bolt shell. Nice and clean.
So, Capella, I'm glad I'm finally done talking to you, but I'm also gonna leave you now, okay?
May the Undying One shroud your footsteps
goodbye.
from the faithless.
Hurry up. Goodbye.
She did a whole stay safe.
It did.
She must really care.
Gotta get stuff once for prosperity's sake
Domin,
as I leave.
may the Undying One.
Say what?
I thought she might make a new puddle. Right
But
here
she knows it
before I
disturbs
leave.
you now. Because you talked about it.
Yep. But she might not. The J is wordy. Save J for last.
Hey, man. Guess what?
What's that?
We're at 53 minutes.
No. I can get through all of Heinrich first, right?
And Heinrich and Jay? From 0 on both of them?
Probably not. There's a good
Sounds
place
like
to make a
another
cut.
cut. Weird.
Episode 5, I think, of dialogue.